Hello, everyone. Welcome in. So good to see you here. Aloha, Dog the Bounty Hunter. Thank you so much for being with us today. You all, I'm sorry that other studio wasn't working for us. I got this set up. I want to thank you all for being here. I do want to announce to you that the Tel Aviv lead has been cleared and closed and is not Sebastian Rogers. I am showing you here an image as to why, of course, one would assume it was. Look how much it looks like him. And I am going to get some documents to where I can send them to you and get them to where I can show them to you from Israel, or to where they were planning on filing for his release. They thought it was him so much. So I'm going to get that off of here real quick for you. And we're going to talk about some other things. I just want to make sure I get the right ones going here. So the first thing I want to do is welcome you all in. I will take a break and get those for you. We have updates to read, but this is not Sebastian. Certainly it looks like Sebastian. Certainly looking for a missing child. When you get a hit like this and look at it, it looks like him, right? And but I want to thank all of you for being here. We are Sebastian's army. We are going to continue to move forth. Yes, it was very disappointing. Not that I wanted Sebastian in that situation, but I wanted to be able to say he's found, he's home with his dad. And that's not the case. This person has been released. And I will read you the updates. And then I also want to talk to you about some other things that I just shared in my members live that have been pretty upsetting. And I'm just going to get to it real quick. I have recently found out that at the Texas Roadhouse, as you know, when Dog and AtNight came onto the case, they went and got the footage through some connections they had with the board, got the footage from the Texas Roadhouse. The owners had been talking and sharing what they knew, and they since have been silenced. The owners of Texas Roadhouse have been silenced, told to be quiet and keep in their own lane. So not only everyone seems to be being silenced in Sumner County, except for the people who should be silenced, in my opinion. So one thing, when you see this, look how much it looks like Sebastian. Are you shocked that you heard nothing from his mother? Right? So let's go ahead and get right to the updates real quick. I want to read you the updates about Tel Aviv, and then I will share with you I want to read that one that we just, the tonight one, because I don't think I read that in my last live. Okay. So we are going to get started. Sorry, I'm just coming right out of a members live. So I'm a little discombobulated. So give me a sec. Went from one right to the other. Okay. So what we did learn in our members live is that this has been cleared, and we read the updates. Now the updates who could silence Texas Roadhouse? Let's talk about that. Hey, Scotty. Hi, everyone. Who could silence a restaurant? Think about that. Who could do it? Okay. I'm going to let you use your own imagination. Who's the person who pulled up and said, at the Motel 6 in an unmarked red van, said they were the lead of the Sebastian case and said, leave and mind your own business? It's kind of that same thing, right? Allegedly, because I wasn't there. Please hit that like button on your way in. And Dog, we welcome you in today. Dog the Bounty Hunter is with us, and we pray for your family. We know you've had a tragedy recently, and we were praying for you and thinking of you, and we still are. It does look like Sebastian. Reptile Wildfire just said, for those of you in the bushes, I'm late. Why does that look like Sebastian in the picture? Because that is the picture from Israel as to why they thought Sebastian might be in Israel, Tel Aviv. It has now been cleared and closed. It is not Sebastian, but I wanted to show you that, and I'm going to get you some documents too. I wanted to show you that so you could see the similarities. It's not like anyone was making it up. It's not like anyone was, doing anything like that. It is seriously looked like Sebastian, correct? So hold on, my phone's going off. Let me get you some paperwork here. I want to show you. And I have to send it to us still. I'm so sorry because I went from one to the next. But one thing I want to tell you is I will be out in Tennessee in October. If any of you are going to be there, if you are going to be there, we would love to get together a little meet and greet. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and forward some things to me and we will get going. But sorry, y'all. It's taking me a second. Didn't mean to start this out so rough. I apologize to you all. That's what I get for going back and forth, right? So quickly. But it is not Sebastian. I am about to share with you the updates right now. Let's get to them even more. These are the pictures. So you can see why it was thought to be Sebastian. Look at this. Look at those. But it has been cleared. So that is not Sebastian in Tel Aviv. Okay. And we're going to go to the posts now. And I wanted to, there's one that I was reading, but we'll just go ahead and get started. They are asking Sumner County for some documentation regarding misleading information that they have come up with, found. So that is also in these updates from AtNight Creative Intelligence. In the early morning hours this morning, AtNight Private Intelligence Agency, and this was today, August 30th, formally cleared the Tel Aviv lead in the case of Sebastian Waindrake Rogers. The individual detained during recent protests in Tel Aviv has been positively identified as not being Sebastian, and this line of inquiry is now closed. This clearance does not mark an end, but a reset of focus. AtNight's search for Sebastian has been underway for nearly 1 year, and it continues without slowing down, without changing track, and without hesitation. Every false lead ruled out clears the path to concentrate on resources of credible information. For nearly 12 months, our teams have pushed forward with tireless effort, with Cynthia Lee, senior representative for One World Society Corp. And we are prepared and able to continue another year, if necessary, until Sebastian turns 17. Our commitment does not waver. We will not stop until answers are found. AtNight Private Intelligence Agency under One World Society Corp. is an independent investigative body working worldwide with appropriate authorities to protect children and reunite families. And I thank them for everything they do. This one is about Sumner County Sheriff's Office peddling misinformation. This is them peddling, let me take this down. This is them peddling misinformation, about them peddling misinformation. Sumner County Sheriff's Office peddled misinformation and fueled speculation amid the search for Sebastian Rogers, data shows. Okay. I know it's amazing they did find the lookalike. Let's go to this comment right now. It's amazing they found this lookalike. Absolutely. That's what biometrics and facial surveillance can find. Okay. Hi, Smiling Sleuth. How are ya? Good to see you. Okay. Today, One World announced findings that based on records, interviews, and social media archives reviewed by the newsroom, Sumner County Sheriff's Office has disseminated incomplete and contradictory information and amplified speculation during key phases of the search for Sebastian Waindrake Rogers, who vanished on February 25th, 2024. AtNight Review Centers on the December 2024 release of an image of a person in a green hoodie associated with Texas Roadhouse, hereinafter will be referred to as TRHGH, according to Sumner County's own SMS authorization at 8:26 a.m. Eastern Time during the week of December 16th, 2024, the office greenlit public distribution of the Texas Roadhouse green hoodie image to see if anyone can ID that person. So they had not ID'd that person. Asking that tips be copied to Sumner County Sheriff's Office's officials later stated that the release triggered an influx of tips, that the person pictured was identified and interviewed from that influx of tips, and the individual was cleared. AtNight has learned the individual proactively contacted law enforcement. Due to the sensitivity of the situation, AtNight is withholding the person's gender at this time. Materials and recordings reviewed by AtNight further indicate the individual waited near a vehicle and engaged in a brief hand-to-hand exchange before departing. And one thing I want to tell you is we are going to be doing a live this week. I want to put it together for you because I have footage that I saw, footage that shows the green hoodie NKP interacting a little bit more. So it's just a different angle. Someone must have put it on a big TV and gotten a little bit more up on top. I don't know. You know me with technology, but I can see it better. And green hoodie walks forward. KP walks up, walks to green hoodie, allegedly, in my opinion. So we're going to be watching that on this week in a live. I want to get it all put together for you. We need to study the Texas Roadhouse, okay? Now let's talk about Sonny Weatherford. I know many of you are really, really suspect about how he passed away. And rightfully so, in my opinion, during a high-profile case where things were happening that were very odd, and suddenly we have a sheriff gone. Not accusing, not saying anything happened, just pointing out the obvious. Okay, so then we have that going on. Then we have Craddock moves from lead detective to sheriff. Brandon Carter goes to lead, and Bobby Simmons is already in place in TBI as lead. Bobby Simmons is the one that Chris Proudfoot calls Bobby. He calls Carter. Let's have Carter and Bobby over here for a little powwow. That is Brandon Carter, the lead detective from Sumner County, on first name basis is with Chris Proudfoot. You now know, based on the Pig Fest, if you were with me, you know, we talked about in a live that Lowley had someone reach out about putting a booth out for flyers and awareness for Sebastian. The director of Park and Rec said, I'll have to ask the Proudfoots, believe it or not, the Bowersocks, believe it or not, and the sheriff. Nothing about Seth, by the way. And on top of it, he responded with, I will be going to lunch with the Proudfoots. So he went to lunch with the Proudfoots. Conflict of interest, in my opinion. There are relationships and they are showing to us to them, and they are being documented. Everything that has been going on for a year and a half, as you can see, because they're calling them out right now on misleading statements, everything is being documented. If you've ever called the tip line and you don't get a response, no one answers, you don't know where to leave it, document it. I know. I'm getting to it, Zipper. Yes, Sonny's wife and son endorsed Craddock. But here's what I want to say to you. In recorded remarks reviewed by AtNight, Sheriff Roy Sonny Weatherford, who is now deceased, stated in substance, so he went into detail, that he, quote, knew Sebastian walked in that house. And we're going to talk about how did he know, okay? He knew Sebastian walked in that house. Now, since then, Sonny is deceased. My theory is he knew from footage. The very footage with the flashlights, with the 3 a.m. sedans, a neighbor's footage maybe showing Sebastian walking in that house. All that footage that has never been released, never asked the public for descriptions of vehicles, never included vehicle descriptions in the Amber Alert. Right? That's weird. No, it's not Sebastian in Israel. And probably not their own cameras, Susan, probably neighbors' cameras. There's cameras that point to their front door stuff. So he knew that he had walked in that house. It has to be footage, in my opinion. Okay. So if we know he walked in the house, then we know he went to sleep with a locked door. He woke up, or the house when Katie woke up had a locked door. So something happened between that period, which we see flashlights and vehicles. Okay. Flashlights and vehicles. So when Nick Barris released that stuff, my source was told that Nick told my source that he was told they were mad because they didn't have it yet or they hadn't watched it yet. Well, that was like, I think 2.5 weeks later after he went missing. There's no excuse for not having it. They did have it. They were watching it at the command post. Okay. So they turned the trash truck, the flashlights into a trash truck. They've never acknowledged there were sedans there. We know they are because I've heard statements from officials in town to local sources talking about the sedans. Local officials saying it was not a random kidnapping and Sebastian didn't leave on his own. Okay. And TBI sounding the Amber Alert. Now, here's what I just found out yesterday. Some people said on TBI's page, they have down for 2024 that they had dealt with 9 kidnapping cases and that all 9 had been solved. Do you hear that? So what was Sebastian? What is Sebastian? Surely those who sounded the Amber Alert and know their own criteria wouldn't now be saying he wasn't kidnapped. They wouldn't now be saying he ran away. So 9 kidnapped, 9 solved. They have just wanted to forget Sebastian, in my opinion. Okay, so Sonny says he knew with substance that Sebastian walked in that house, meaning he disappeared behind a locked door and a door that was relocked, and flashlights in the yard that the sheriff called a trash truck, and they have never mentioned or provided a description or asked the public to help with vehicles. Okay. He described the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Sonny described, as handling the matter. Now, Sonny was the sheriff when this happened. Handling the matter. TBI has elsewhere indicated that Sumner County was the lead agency. AtNight has asked the agencies to clarify this discrepancy in jurisdiction and communication. AtNight's audit of the official Sumner County Sheriff's Office Facebook posts about the case shows that every such post includes comments criticizing the father, Seth Rogers. A portion of those critical comments come from accounts whose public profiles list employers such as Sumner County Sheriff's Office, Sumner County government, or entities within the sheriff's sphere. Why do they dislike Seth? He's a man of blue too. Because they wanted him to give up because there's people who did this who weren't counting on the unconditional love of a humane father. They were dealing with dysfunctional people who don't understand unconditional love. AtNight has preserved contemporaneous screenshots and is providing time-stamped archives to Sumner County Sheriff's Office for review. Get this one. The county's Register of Deeds and Craddock's wife also publicly chimed in on related threads. Interesting, right? I have a story for you. Someone went in and were trying to talk about Sebastian and were basically mistreated. They were constituents, so they made a phone call, and they didn't realize that the person they were calling was best friends with someone else in the police office or in the sheriff's office, and told her just to walk away. Imagine. Hi, Jen. So, yes, parental alienation. So, hi, Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome in. So that's kind of baffling, right? Yeah, I'm glad he's out there all week. I really am. I'm glad he was out there all week. So let's keep reading this. So not only that, in a discussion with Sonny, reviewed by AtNight, Sonny, the former sheriff, now deceased, during a high-profile kidnapping, or well, high-profile Amber Alert case, he went to a sheriff's association, slipped, fell, and was deceased. Not saying anything else happened, just repeating what happened. And I also say there is not coincidence in true crime, and I'll just move on from there. So Sonny said he didn't even know who the Bowersox family was, reacting as if the name were entirely unfamiliar. And he conveyed uncertainty about which agency held the lead early in the case. That's really interesting that a sheriff wouldn't even know who was the lead. Additional factual context developed by AtNight. Okay, I want to put this up there for you to read for a second because I have documents I want to show you all real quick. So if you guys can just read that on your own for a second, I do want to get these documents out because it's important that you guys see that they were filing. It was being filed for their release. Because they thought it was Sebastian so much, they had paperwork ready for his release. Okay, and so I do want to show that to you. So you guys go ahead and look at that for a second. And I'm sorry I went from members to this so quickly and wasn't prepared like I usually am, you all. Well, Lady Freedoms, I'm usually more prepared than this. I'm just I went from one to the next. And there's stuff I want you to see. I hope I can get this video to you. Sometimes I have trouble with videos. Okay. So you all are reading that for a second. Discuss among yourselves what you think, and I will get this up. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm getting the right one. The mayor being at the scene, that's weird too, right? Okay, hold on. I just want to make sure that I'm not sharing the wrong one. There's so much right now, right? Make sure. Okay, got it. Okay. So one thing I will tell you is the owners of Texas Roadhouse who were being cooperative and talking and telling what they'd seen, they have now been silenced, told to stay in their own lane. So they aren't talking anymore. Okay. Also, they, they were working and all that, but just so you guys know, Sumner County never did arrive there. They never went to Texas Roadhouse, apparently. They didn't go there to investigate. They didn't go there to interview employees. They didn't go look at the footage, none of the above. Okay, none of the above. So mods, can you do me a favor? I would like you to really closely watch the chat. I know you do such a good job. And let's just get the negative Nellies out now. Thank you. So they have been silenced as well. And they have all been silenced. They won't be talking anymore. They've been told to stay in their own lane, just like the person who was up at Motel 6 was told to mind their own business and leave. So there's a lot of things that have been going on that, very, very upsetting. Here's one that I can show you for the new United Nations. And I'm showing this to you so you know that AtNight isn't messing around. They're not just making things up. They are truly investigating. Okay, so let me go to we're going to keep reading this now, and then we're going to go, oh, thank you, Gypsy. You're so sweet. Thank you for all you do and for your donation. Appreciate you. And I know you're going through so much right now, too. So Texas Roadhouse follow-up. I will pull up the documents I just sent to my email after we get through this. The restaurant's owner, GM, told AtNight that Texas Roadhouse green hoodie individual entered the ladies' restroom. And I think most of you knew that, right? That they said it was a female who entered the restaurant and exited within minutes of an initial encounter with a patron. And we're going to go through all that footage. There's things I want to show you. The GM believes the person to be female and reported difficulty obtaining a callback from investigators. Imagine. Now, you think about this. We went over the Department of Justice guide for investigating, and basic 101 is you're gathering everything you can. Remember, you've got to get all the evidence, all the footage, everything. That's basic 101 obligations. It wasn't done. And it's shocking to not go to the last person a child was seen alive. So now here's my next question. And I actually will ask this question. Is Dog still in here? Dog and Nick, are you still in here? If either of you are in here, my question is, no, I lost my dogs are driving me nuts, you guys, sorry. So they didn't go there. So my question is, did they go to the Strike and Spare? Did they go to the BJ's? That's my next question. Were they at the Strike and Spare? Were they at BJ's? And if they went there and chose to skip the Texas Roadhouse, I think that speaks volumes, right? That speaks volumes. Why would you skip that place? But there's a lot going on at that Texas Roadhouse. Okay, so the general manager couldn't get Sumner County, had difficulty getting them to call them back at a place where a child was last seen who is now have an Amber Alert. Sumner County officials indicated that tips surged following that image release of Green Hoodie. AtNight has requested counts of tips received, calls returned, emails answered, and any aggregate breakdowns by source or category. Thank you so much, Julie, for that donation. You rock. Appreciate you. So they are asking, and now remember I've said, if you call the tip line and you can't get through because they have zero directions or you're sent to a recorded line, please document date and time because all of this will matter. And we've talked about it. It's all going to matter when it comes down because right now you've got, these people in a county who think they're, running the county and untouchable. But once you go above the county and we get the right people looking at this, right now you've got we've got so many people looking at this because of what happened in Israel that this is not going to go down for much longer as far as ignoring it and being allowed to do that. Okay. Parent status. AtNight has asked whether any parents, specifically Seth, Katie, or Chris Andrew Proudfoot, have been designated as suspects, persons of interest, or have been formally cleared. This next one, I want you guys to, it's the mayor's presence. Now, we know that the DA was there, and I believe Whitley was there day 3 at the command post, where we know they were watching the footage from the neighborhood footage since day 1 at the command post. I have sources who have told me that. Okay. Whitley was there. I believe Coffindaffer said Whitley showed up on day 3. When the DA shows up, that means there's a crime. Unfortunately, they have not treated it as a crime, have not charged anyone, but they have managed to get together and put charges against a YouTuber that these people have never even been around. Evidence collection at Texas Roadhouse. Oh, mayor's presence. AtNight has asked why the mayor entered a controlled scene related to the case, and if so, on what authority and for what purpose? That is a very good question. Why would a mayor show up? Evidence collection at Texas Roadhouse. And I think we know the answer to this because I just shared with you a little bit. AtNight has sought confirmation on whether investigators obtained interior-exterior CCTV for the relevant window, interviewed staff patrons, and pursued digital cyber steps tied to the location, device pings, social, transactional. I want to show you real quick, and we'll come back to it, but I want to show you real quick why device pings are so important. There you go. Let me make it smaller. There you go. Okay, so we need device pings. We need device, this is all wild, isn't it? We need device pings because we are looking right here at an individual wearing a Crane sweatshirt. Now, my person who usually looks at images for me is out today. She looked a little bit this morning. She said it is a Crane shirt, and to her it is CP. Okay, now, do you see the time on this? It's 6:23. You can see that it's on the 25th. You see the people behind him entering. So this is right about when they're about to come out. You've got this person staring at them eating. This is the back of KP's booth. He's on that half wall, like the booth. I call it a half wall. It's a booth behind her. Okay, remember, she kept looking behind her. But I want to show you this, y'all. That's why we need pings. Okay, this is exactly why we need pings. I think that might be a burner phone if you look in the hand. Many of you thought so in our members live. I'm not, yeah, it would be the mayor of Hendersonville, Poppy. I'm not sure. Yes. Look at that. So that's why we need pings. That's why they need GPS, all of the above. And we need to know if they've looked into this, and if not, why. Okay. And I just wanted to show that with you. And now we'll share this instead. Okay. Oh my goodness. Hold on. She's in the house. Hold on. I'm muting because this is a mod. Sorry about that, my friends. So where was I? They are asking for all of that stuff because they've been told Sumner County never physically went to the Texas Roadhouse. They never asked the people at the Texas Roadhouse for the footage. They may have gone to the board or the directors or something, who knows, but they did not show up there. And now they've silenced them and told them to stop talking and stay in their lane. Okay. Then you have Angela Craddock, Sumner County Sheriff's Office. We appreciate your and there's a picture of her and Eric right here in the corner. We appreciate your unwavering commitment to the safety of our citizens. This was 37 weeks ago, 9 months. Your dedication and relentless efforts to bring Sebastian home are commendable. Thank you for the sacrifices you make daily, leaving your families behind to serve and protect. Well, let me ask you a question. If it was his kid and her kid missing, would they think this has been a great case? Great search? I don't think so. They didn't even show up to the restaurant he was last seen at, allegedly. Okay, then you get people who responded to his lady. Angela, I bet you'd feel differently if this was your child. And I'm so glad someone said it. Yes, after all this time, they need to be transparent and turn it over to another agency. Angela Craddock, thank you for your sacrifice you give to Sumner County every day. So what does she do there every day? What does Angela do every day? Dog the Bounty Hunter, this was from December, and they posted this. Remember, Dog and Partners addressed CP's false claims that during a recent public appearance on YouTube panel discussion, CP falsely claimed Dog and his team never attempted to contact him regarding efforts to locate Sebastian. The statement is demonstrably false and contradicted by documented communications from Proudfoot and his wife, Katie Proudfoot. Okay, just wanted you to see that. And here it is. And I think you all have seen it before, where they are talking to her and they don't know him, her. So they say, if you fear your husband and want to speak in private, hit 2 and delete the text. Then they know, and they will, and then call this number when you're away from him. We will be coming Tuesday to speak with him. And the response is any communication that you have, I'm sorry, I just closed it out. Any communication to myself or any law enforcement to myself, excuse me, my goodness. Any communication to myself or my husband should go through law enforcement. Contact them, not us. And then they continue on by saying, Nick and Dog, the bounty hunter's high-risk fugitive task force. Consider this your formal and only message from my wife, Katie, and myself. Do not, for any reasons or circumstances, contact us in any way again. So they're missing a child that they lost under their watch, hasn't been found in 10 months before AtNight came in, and they want no help, nothing to do, and don't ever contact us. Silence is what the theme is in Sumner County. Be silent or you will be silenced, in my opinion, is the theme. Okay. If you need to contact us, you need to reach out to Sumner County Sheriff's Office or TBI. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter, Chris and Katie Proudfoot. So they are claiming that they have never been spoken to by them. And indeed, they had been contacted. They just did not want any help finding Sebastian. And that in itself is just heartbreaking. And I'll say it again. But I am going to, okay. On August 30th, AtNight sent a detailed request for confirmation and clarification to Craddock and Carter, covering 1, lead agency designation and division of responsibilities with TBI. 2, the identification, interview, and clearance of Texas Roadhouse Green Hoodie. 3, Roadhouse evidence collection and follow-up. 4, any mayoral presence at controlled scenes. 5, the status of parents and guardians. And 6, tip handling metrics since the Texas Roadhouse image release and in total. AtNight will include any response in full context in its report and will update subsequent publications accordingly. All statements in this release are based on materials, recordings, and public posts reviewed by AtNight. Source archives, including Sumner County Sheriff's Office SMS authorization, interview recordings, call notes, and social media captures, are preserved by AtNight and available for inspection by the relevant agencies. It's very interesting to me that Craddock's wife chimed in on a message like that. You know how you have a kid who's running for office and, at school, and their parents are the ones who give them the 1,000 votes. That's what this reminds me of. Her calling and giving him, tooting his horn. I'm looking, Jenny. I'm coming. Jenny, what's going on? Oh, Jenny, I'm so sorry. He passed this morning. I'm so sorry. Our thoughts will be with you, Jenny. Yes, that's another thing. I'm going to share it with you real quick, but I want to get into my email. So I want to get you guys to a point where you can watch something real quick while I pull up my email. So I am going to pull up.
53 days since now 16-year-old Sebastian
Can
Rogers
you hear that,
vanished
guys?
from his home in Hendersonville. His disappearance sparked national headlines, but now his father says the case is losing momentum. With National Missing Children's Day coming up on Sunday, he is raising his voice and demanding urgency. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry is outside the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, where Sebastian's father made an emotional plea today. Caitlin.
Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers, was deeply frustrated when he spoke with me. He fears the case is going cold.
My son's been missing for 15 months, and they don't care.
Sebastian disappeared in February last year. He was just 15 years old. Initial search efforts involved local police, the TBI, and the FBI. But those physical searches have since shifted to focus on the investigative side. The last press conference on the case was more than a year ago.
I would love to see them actually conducting more searches. I'd like to have some communication on the tips that have come in just with me.
Breaks my heart.
So that I know that when a tip comes in, I'm not following up on what job they're supposed to do.
Seth says only one detective is actively assigned to the case and that he is often left to chase down the same leads, also sent to law enforcement.
We need more than just one set of eyes on this case, but it all falls on my shoulders to ask people to help find my son. My son means something to me. These people should be doing their job.
In his push for progress, Seth says he's reached out to lawmakers and is even drafting federal legislation aimed at reforming how child protection agencies and the Amber Alert system handle missing children's cases.
It's a federal oversight law on places like CPS, DCS, the Amber Alert, getting it redone and taking it out of people's hands that don't care about the children.
According to the FBI, an estimated 460,000 children are reported missing in the U.S. every year. Seth says every one of those cases deserves attention, including Sebastian's.
A parent demands answers. We demand answers because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him. I need him back with me.
I can't take that. That breaks my heart every time I watch it.
We reached out to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office for a statement. They assured us this case remains a top priority and said in part, please know that behind the scenes, a tremendous amount of work has been done and will continue. Some aspects of the investigation are not visible to the public due to the sensitive nature of the case. Sebastian's family continues to ask for the community's help. If you know anything about Sebastian's whereabouts, you're asked to call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office or the TBI. Those numbers can be found on our website at WKRN.com.
Okay. So this is what I want to share with you. And yes, it's a tragedy that we have a father standing with a microphone trying to get attention for his missing child 18 months later. My heart absolutely breaks for him. He's not going to stop. We're not going to stop. And the reason I think that, by the way, that statement, and I'm just going to say something, that statement where they're talking about that they're working and they're doing it and it's an active investigation. They send other stuff. They say other stuff that is unaligned with that. Let me just put it that way. Okay. We're not going to stop. You're right, ladies. Lady Freedom's Brown narrative. We are not stopping. And Sebastian, what they didn't count on during this whole little plan, whoever's involved, whoever's the masterminds, whoever was possibly at a poker game that possibly occurred, that possibly made a plan, that possibly happened to this, whoever is involved in this will be brought to justice because we aren't giving up. And what they overlooked was unconditional love because they certainly cannot understand it. Okay? That's how I feel. They thought Seth Rogers would give it up like everyone else has done, like everyone does. They give them their same song and dance and people move on. That's people who don't know how to love think that. But the person who does know how to love Sebastian will never give up. And they had no mental capacity to understand that. Yes, Nicey, I see him too. We've been studying him too. And I know you and I need to get together. But yes, we've got a lot of images. We've got a lot of things we're looking at. We've got cars. That car, the red car, we don't believe is the Camaro. It is a Charger, in our opinion. So Thank you back, Lady Freedoms. It takes a village, and we're getting there, right? I hope so, but we're not going to give up. Okay, I want you all to see the documentation for Israel, for Tel Aviv, for the sighting and the alleged sighting that has now been closed because it's not Sebastian. I'm trying to get the video up too, so you can see the video of them arresting the detainee. It's terrifying to me. But there are a lot of images, Lady Freedoms. And you know what I think we need to do? I think we all need to get together, those of us who are still working on the case, and do one big panel together. I really do. Let's all talk about that, okay? I think we should all get together and just put it together. But this is from the U.S. Department of State. It's so you all, everyone who thinks AtNight is messing around, playing a game, they're not. Okay, this was the application, and of course it's redacted. This is the application under the Hague Convention on the civil aspects of international child abduction, and this is an application for access to the child or children listed below. This is how much AtNight, One World, Dog, they all thought it was Sebastian, that they had the paperwork ready to release him to the United States. Okay, so it's Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. You see his birthday's December 7th. He's from the U.S., believed to be detained overseas in Tel Aviv. August 2025, facial ping, contact for Israeli police provided. There's a child's current location if known. And I have some maps I want to show, but I want to make sure I'm allowed to show them of the locations, okay, of where they thought he was. United States citizenship. You see his height, 5'5", blonde hair, brown eyes, hazel eyes. His mother's Katie Payne Proudfoot, father Seth R. Rogers. Okay. Now, the person alleged to have him, they didn't know what they don't, because they were just investigating. They had no name of who had him, and they believed it not to be a relation of the child, obviously. Okay. And they didn't know that person's employer, occupation, or address because they didn't know who had him there. They just got the ping and were investigating. So let's see what else we have. Okay. So this is going to the, who did I say? Oh, yeah. This is going to the Department of State. I also have one for the United Nations. I just want to show you all that it is legit. Okay. You know, some people, oh, AtNight and Dog, they're just making a big game out of this. No, they are not the ones making a big game. They are the ones with agents flying to Tel Aviv. They are the ones who had agents flying. They are the ones who had agents flying out when we had a ransom that, you know, they had to follow because you follow everything. So, okay. So we'll also look at the one from the United Nations. And here is the dialogue. Place of wrongful removal or retention. Removal from Tennessee, United States. They have the retention redacted, okay? Date of wrongful removal, I want you to pay attention to that, February 25th, 2025. And that's because that's where he was truly last seen. Otherwise, we're taking someone's word for it. And regardless, whoever's word it is, you want to take the last visuals, okay? Visuals, not vigil. On or about February 25th, 2024, the minor child, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, born December 7th, 2008, disappeared from his habitual residence located in Hendersonville, Sumner County, Tennessee. The child's biological father, Seth Rogers, at no time did the father consent, either expressly or implicitly, to the removal of his son from his habitual residence or to the child's continual retention outside of his lawful custody. I do want to address that. I used to have a lot of people come in here. For different, I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry. There was something on my page here. What was I just talking about? Sorry, guys. I lost my train of thought. I'm going to not look at the chat for a little bit just because I want to get this out. Oh, that's what it was. People have been writing me, and I always forward them because I find it very suspect. Well, if KP put him with a friend, she has a right to do that. No, you do not. And I have tried to explain that every time someone sends that to me. Okay. He has two parents with two custodial rights to him. One parent cannot decide to just alienate another parent because he lives with her. Okay, that is not legal. You don't get to choose to just relocate your child when there's another parent with rights to your child. That is illegal. So anyone who writes to me and tells me that KP had a right to put him with a friend or a former lover, I've heard too. Okay. She has no right to do that. He has a father who's missed 18 months of visitation. So if that happens, she's going to jail. Just letting you know. So we just addressed that now, okay? Because we got people who come in. So if anyone puts that in the chat, just take a picture of them, delete them, and send it to me, and I will forward it on. Thank you. So he did not allow this. Subsequent to February 25th, extensive search efforts were undertaken within the state of Tennessee and through allied jurisdictions. These efforts included coordination with local law enforcement, the issuance of public alerts, private sector intelligence operations, and continuous monitoring of digital and biometric identifiers. Despite these exhaustive measures, the child was not recovered within the United States. August 23rd, on or about 2025, a referred to as a ping suggested that an individual bearing a strong resemblance to Sebastian was present in Tel Aviv. The system's detection was based on pre-established biometric and facial recognition markers tied specifically to Sebastian's known identifiers. This alert constituted the first credible international lead in over 18 months since the initial disappearance. The father did not authorize the removal of the child from the jurisdiction of Tennessee, nor has he consented to the child's retention abroad. The father has continuously asserted his custodial rights, has remained actively engaged in lawful recovery proceedings, and has never relinquished his parental authority. Not only that, he got ABA therapy coming in daily at his apartment. He was changing his work schedule, and he had Sebastian doing online for a while until they could get him situated as far as the things he needed socially and from the traumas he had experienced at the hands of others. Okay? So it constitutes a wrongful removal and or retention within the meaning of Articles 3 and 4 of the Hague Convention on the Civil Aspects of International Child Abduction. The father has never consented to Sebastian's removal or retention outside his custody. He has continuously exercised his parental rights, sought his son's return through lawful channels. Okay, so we read all of that. So we read that. The supporting documentation is law and statute relating to custody for the child's residence at time of alleged removal. So they sent the custody stuff and the FBI investigation missing persons poster. If the child is located and released under this convention, the applicant proposes that Sebastian be repatriated under escort of his father, Seth Rogers, or another duly authorized representative acting under power of attorney. Travel arrangements will be coordinated through the U.S. Embassy, with the preferred route being to JFK, onward to Nashville BNA, and the applicant will ensure all necessary passports, travel documents, and authorizations are obtained through the Department of State, U.S. Department of State. Secure custody transfer will be facilitated by consular officers and, if required, law enforcement escorts immediately upon arrival in Tennessee, consistent blank lawful blank rights. And the rest this is all redacted. Okay. And then they're talking about the primary purpose for soliciting the information is to initiate the processing of a Hague Abduction Convention with the U.S. Central Authority. And I have another one. No, I have not heard from the lady who, I think her name was Barbie. who said she feels she can solve the case, but we will keep listening to her. So let me get to you the other one for the United Nations. Okay. Make sure you got that. You're seeing it. And these were just sent so I could show you all that they weren't acting like it wasn't a game. It's serious. Okay. And I do want to say one thing. If we have a child that's been removed and is put overseas, they need a passport or something to get there. And the reason I'm saying that to you is if indeed he has been trafficked overseas, if he needed a passport, do you remember the rumor that was not verified many, many months ago? I think it was like in December, that one creator's girlfriend had received, or they had received information that $5,000 had been exchanged for a new passport or birth certificate. I'm just saying, a lot of times when we hear rumors, there's a little bit of some truth in them. Okay. Now, the other thing is, with all of the people, in my opinion, that are at the Texas Roadhouse, and that law enforcement did not go there, the last place he was seen to investigate, that tells me there was a lot going on there. Okay. That's why when Dog and AtNight got the footage, KP ran there, making a lunch scene and being asked to leave. Well, since then, because they have shared, the owners of Texas Roadhouse, and you'll hear this in the update, they've shared that Green Hoodie was a woman, in their opinion, who went into the female bathroom, the woman's bathroom, etc. Since then, they have been told to keep their mouths closed and stay in their own lane. How sad is that? Don't talk about Sebastian. Don't pass out flyers of Sebastian at an event, Hendersonville's biggest event, where so many people will come, yet the mother will go to a 12-month interview and say, I'm just so surprised how many people don't know about Sebastian. Well, guess what? When you block people's efforts to tell about Sebastian, they're not going to know about Sebastian. Okay, Caroline, Secret Service would be involved if there were counterfeit passports that they were aware of, right? We have to remember, if indeed, and in my opinion, and I could be fully wrong, but here's how I think about it. And if I've got Lady still in here or Dog still in here, Lady Narrative, Dog, Nick, if any of you are in here, let's talk about this for a second if you want to chime in. I'd appreciate it. When I see all those moving pieces at the Texas Roadhouse, to me, that's a plan. Someone standing behind her. We've got the image of CP standing out front that was sent to me. We have a lot going on. Green Hoodie out there. My person who studies images does believe someone is laying in the back seat of that white pickup truck. Or in the back, she said she could. Yeah, I think she means the back seat. She hasn't had a chance to look at it more today. So those moving pieces, remember there's someone running behind the white truck, and there looks like there's two more people there, and there's cars that go behind the bushes, and there's someone claiming, you saw in our chat yesterday, someone claiming that CB was with KP. We can't confirm that, but I've received different things that KP pulled over and met with someone. Can't confirm it. But I have received those tips that KP did not go straight home. Allegedly, which is unconfirmed, she pulled over and talked to someone for quite a while. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not allowed. I've been asked not to say whom. Okay. And Cooper, can you please take up a collection on Jenny to help with her father? Thank you so much for all you do for Seth and Sebastian. Thank you for your donation. I'm not going to do it midstream right now, but we can talk. I can put out a post for her. I will put out a post. Okay. Jenny, we will put out a community post and email me your GoFundMe. Thank you, Cooper, for caring. You guys are such a great community. You take such good care of each other. And Jen, you called also about that whole situation. Thank you, Jen, for calling. I know I was in middle live stream, so I said I can't do anything about it right now, but we certainly will pick you up, my friend, and I will place your GoFundMe in my community post, okay? It could have been at the gas station, Gina H. Now, remember, we were told that wasn't Sebastian. I think it was Seth who said that wasn't Sebastian at the gas station, but I don't know. Yes, and I have to go watch too. Let's not mention other creators, you guys, just because everyone's being so nasty the last couple of days in the chats. Not you all, but people are coming in being so nasty. Let's not mention other creators. We don't want people slammed when they're not even here to defend themselves and their lovely channels, okay? Oh, I certainly will, Nunya. Thank you. I would love to do a panel where those who are involved still would like to come on and we talk Sebastian and meet each other and work together. So I will reach out to Hatfield McCoy's, and Lady Freedom, you're in here. I will reach out to you as well, and we'll get some creators, Hindsight, in here, and we'll see what we'll talk, okay? Because I really think this irritates me too. Caroline Miller has had a sighting. She has told us about it. The person she saw Sebastian, in her opinion, twice. Also thinking she may have seen Summer Wells. She can't get the FBI to come and look at the composite of the individuals she saw. She took pictures. I'm going to give you one clinker that blows my mind. You know how we had someone walking through the neighborhood with goggles on in the dark of night? One of the sightings, the guy's wearing goggles. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. So, and they haven't come and asked her. She has pictures. I've seen them. It's crazy. So let's keep going. And absolutely, I will work on getting a panel going. Now, this is to the United Nations, because as you could see from the photos, it really looks like Sebastian. Urgent request for guidance regarding possible custody of missing and or kidnapped American minor in Tel Aviv, Sebastian Waindrake Rogers. And what I was saying was, with all those moving pieces, I want your opinion real quick. And I know I'm jumping around. And that is because Lally is coming on my show this week. Lally is coming on my show this week. I had asked her for Monday, forgetting it was a holiday. So she is going to come on this week. And Blessed Wife and Mom says, I could never get Sumner County to check out or call me back from anything I ever called about. Yeah, it's sad. Very sad. Okay. So you got all those moving pieces. You got someone standing behind him. We've got who we think is CP standing there with his crane shirt on and a burner phone, allegedly. We've got green hoodie. We have someone in the car next to Sebastian. We have what my person who does images says is someone is laying in the white truck. We have two people behind the white truck. There is a lot going on. Nicey, you too as well. We would like you to join us, my friend. So to me, let's talk about this. I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, most of the cases we cover, the children turn out not to be alive. I get that. It's sad, and most of it is at the hands of the parents. However, if they wanted to get rid of Sebastian, they wanted him to go to a school. He didn't go. Seth wouldn't allow a school where you get beaten and abused. And the others were too expensive. Okay. But yet, CPS was called end of January, beginning of February, made a visit to the home, and a custody case was coming up. So in my opinion, that triggered a very big motive to remove Sebastian from the home. And I think it needed to be expedited because of the custody case. This is all a theory. So therefore, I will go with trafficking, because I believe, Sean Taylor, that there's a drug and a trafficking ring in Sumner County. And this, to me, there's so many people involved. There's so many people trying to silence people. We've got law enforcement not wanting to investigate. We've got all of this going on. And I just truly, truly think, rather than 6 to 8 and all these people involved taking a kid and unaliving him, and I know some of those images are horrible, you all. I do. I see them too. But I think, in my opinion, they're making money off of him. Hey, Castle. In my opinion, they're making money off of him. Okay. So they sold him. There's a ring. He's gone. TBI agent who says day 1 or 2 to one of my sources. Where he is, he's not coming back from. All of that, to me, goes to trafficking. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. But Sean Taylor, he had folders, he had files proving there was a drug ring, a trafficking ring, fraudulent mortgages were involved, overseas payments, things like that. So I just really think that they just want, in my opinion, I think they wanted him out of their hair so he couldn't talk at custody. I don't think they unalived him. Maybe I'm being naive, but I think possibly that's where they decided to go with him. They couldn't get him in a school. They didn't want to pay for a school that was good. And he's speaking now. He's an outcrier, right? He's starting to speak up. It becomes dangerous. So off he goes. That's how I see it. Yes, he's healthy enough to do labor. We finally had admittance from KP that she misrepresented him. And I listened to that Duchess interview again the other night, about 3 a.m., where she says, I listened to that interview the other night where she is, sorry, my dogs are being very distracting. I forget what I was saying now. Go lay down, babies. Go lay down. They want to go to the lake. I forgot what I was going with that, and I'm so sorry. Yes, thank you, Gina H. Young in mind. So I watched the Duchess interview, and they're like, he's young in mind. He's 15, but his mind hasn't caught up. He doesn't know money. He's never been on a bus. So then she comes out in December, like 12 months later at the 1-year mark and says, well, he was misrepresented in the speed to get information out. Really? If you see Sebastian, you wouldn't even know he's special needs. He's very capable. Total flip. Just like he walked out that front door. That walking out the front door, I have always thought was weird because they say he'd never done it before. So I'm a mom. If I wake up and my son's shoes are gone and he never goes barefoot, my son left in the cold night and he doesn't like dark, he doesn't like bugs, and he doesn't like to be cold. He likes to wear his jacket. He didn't take his phone and he did all these things he wouldn't do. My first response wouldn't be, I don't know why he walked out that door. That would not be my first response. My first response would be, he wouldn't walk out that door. Something has happened. Right? But I used to focus on the front door, thinking, well, that's his way of deterring us from trying to get us to look at the front. Maybe he went out the back. I don't think that anymore. You know what I think? That statement was to let us know he was still walking. He walked out on his own. He didn't walk out on his own. I think that's what it was. It's not, he walked out that front door. He stood on my porch, crystal clear. I know it. I don't know why he walked out that front door. I don't think it's the front door. I think it is the walking on his own. That's where that was said so much to get us to envision the child leaving on his own. Exactly, YouTuber. You got it. YouTuber just said it. She said that, in my opinion, and reinforced the idea that Sebastian left the home on his own accord. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And I had been looking at it the wrong way. I'd been looking at it. Why is that front door? Why are they focusing on it? But I think it's because they wanted to say he walked out on his own, not been carried out, not been driven out, not had shenanigans going on in the garage, in my opinion. None of the, Nicey Marie just said he was in the garage, in my opinion. Yes, I tend to agree. He walked out the front door of her car. Maybe he was told to get out. One of my sources said that he was told to get out of the car. No, not one of my sources. I received a tip of that. Okay. So I just want you guys to focus on the walking part. I think that might be it. It was not the front door. It's the walking, because they didn't want us to believe he was carried out or driven out. So our dear esteemed members of the United Nations, now if AtNight was playing a game like people want to say they are, and because I'm sharing it, I'm playing the game. No, I have actual documentation from the company that was sent to me to share this and show that it indeed is real. Dear esteemed members of the United Nations, urgent request for guidance regarding possible custody of missing and or kidnapped American minor in Tel Aviv, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Our agency represents Mr. Seth Rogers in the urgent search for his son. Notice how they can't mention the mom. And I have received so many emails from people who are joining in the case, because it's a year and a half. You have people who trickle in and they're like, "Does Sebastian's mom dead? Where's his mother? Does she not have any custody rights?" No, she's just not. You just don't see her. That's my answer. She's alive and living her best life, I guess. I don't know, in my opinion. So they represent Seth in the urgent search for his son. Sebastian was born December 7th, 2008, and disappeared from Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 25th, and remains listed as an active Amber Alert on the FBI's missing children roster. He is a neurodiverse 16-year-old with slim build, light brown blonde hair, and rectangular dark eyeglasses. I'm not sure what they've redacted. On or about blah, blah, blah. Well, we know that now because we've already read those other updates. That's August 25th, 23rd from Tel Aviv, showing a juvenile male being escorted into a police vehicle. And I want to get the video up because that's scary. Our analysts reviewed stills and enhanced video of the footage. Independent AI-assisted observation reports noted that the detainee was a teenage male with his slender build, light hair, dark rectangular glasses. Wow. The reports emphasize that these observations are non-forensic and cannot constitute identification. Nevertheless, they flagged the presence of Israeli police insignia and vehicles in the detention images, confirming a custody setting, and recorded that the subject's facial proportions, eye to nose, nose to chin ratios, were appearing consistent with Sebastian's reference photographs. They also cautioned against over-reliance on digitally enhanced images due to potential artifacts, and stressed that the analysis serve only as investigative leads, not biometric verification. Remember, he was released before they could verify. All underlying media has been preserved with cryptographic hashes to maintain provenance. We respectfully request the UN, United Nations guidance and assistance regarding the possible detention of Sebastian or another foreign minor in Tel Aviv. We understand that minors' identities are sensitive and are not seeking disclosure of confidential personal data. Instead, we seek direction on the appropriate safeguarding and identification protocols that apply when a foreign child may be in custody. Consular notification points on which we seek guidance. A, consular notification involvement. What are the United Nations endorsed best practices for ensuring that a foreign juvenile in police custody is promptly identified and that the relevant consular officers and blank are notified without delay? In similar cases, UN guidelines typically require consular access under the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations. The redacted during questioning and the use of interpreters where necessary. We seek confirmation of these practices and any Israeli-specific provisions. Non-coercive identification procedures. What protocols should authorities follow to verify a detained youth's identity in a manner that protects the minor's rights? and avoids traumatization. For example, are photo arrays, live viewing by a parent, or provision of dental medical records permissible under Israeli and international law when mediated by competent authorities? See, so they're asking what they're going to need to identify, confirm, verify, and remove him from Israel if this had been him. It is not him, and get him to the U.S. Okay. For example, are photo arrays, live viewing by a parent, provision dental medical records permissible under Israeli international law when mediated by competent authorities? Our analysts can furnish higher resolution photographs, dental records, and DNA profiles for lawful comparison upon request from competent authorities. They are also asking for safeguarding during detention. If a minor fitting Sebastian's description is held, what measures should be in place to safeguard their welfare? Separate juvenile facilities, regular medical psychological assessments, and non-public handling of the case. The broadcast suggests involvement of Israeli police. We want to ensure that the juvenile is not inadvertently treated as an adult or held without any access to appropriate services. This is something, isn't it, you all? This is really something. And I haven't seen your comments in a while, so I want to apologize ahead of time. Julie, thank you so much for your sweet donation as well. And Cooper, I want to mention again, and Jen is in Georgia, that we will absolutely surround Jenny, and I will post that on my community post. So you can all be looking for Jenny's GoFundMe on my community post. Thank you, Jen and Cooper, and for the donation as well. Okay. I appreciate it, truly. When you international coordination, so they're talking about, they just want to know the procedures to get him out if it was him. Which UN channels can assist our coordination with the Israeli police, Ministry of Welfare and Social Affairs, and relevant redacted. We have already requested a simple yes or no from the police regarding whether a juvenile matching Sebastian's description was detained around the date. If the UN can expedite this request or facilitate contact with appropriate Israeli child protection entities, your guidance would be invaluable. Are there UN resources that outline procedures for protecting migrant or trafficked children in situations like this? We wish to ensure that any action we take supports the child's best interests and complies with international standards. Recommendations would be welcome. So they have compiled forensic enhancements of the broadcast and a photo array comparing the detainee to known images of Sebastian, while AI-assisted observations identified similarities. They also underscored limitations. Image quality varied, and identification requires human forensic examiners. We request any relevant Tel Aviv blank be pending identification. So they are deeply concerned. It is not properly identified and safeguarded. Our goal is to work collaboratively with the United Nations, Israeli authorities, and the U.S. government to ensure the child's rights and well-being are protected. We would greatly appreciate your initial response, appropriate point of contact, and preliminary guidance you can offer. And I truly think that this is what we are dealing with. Honestly, because I think it is trafficking. Am I right? Do I know? Absolutely not. I just truly believe with the ring mentality that's going on in the community, the silencing of people. Why would you silence people if you didn't know anything? You wouldn't. Why wouldn't you want flyers being passed out if you wanted your child home? You wouldn't. You wouldn't block that. Why wouldn't you answer emails if you were a lead or a sheriff? If you cared to bring him home, you wouldn't. You'd answer him. Right? Pam, go for it. Please. We'd love for you to write to Mrs. Trump. Thank you. Pam says, Mrs. Trump really cares about kids. Please write to her. I would love for you to write to her. Yes. I also am writing letters too. I'm also writing letters too. Now, one thing I want to say is that we have, so do you really think, you guys, that they would do all of this, all those moving pieces at the Texas Roadhouse? And don't forget, the neighbors in their neighborhood group on February 25th, around the time Sebastian was going to be home, around that time, they had posted that there was a guy hiding behind light posts and trees with short sleeves on. Okay? With a short sleeve shirt. I did law enforcement investigate that? I do not know, but that's weird. Flashlights in the backyard at 3 a.m., sedan, another car. And then around the time he was coming home from Texas Roadhouse, there was someone lurking in the neighborhood hiding. Yepers. And I have a photo I would like to share with you all. Let me see if I have the video real quick, but I want to share this photo with you guys while I'm looking for the video of the arrest. That's what I want you to look at real quick while I'm getting the video of the arrest for you in Israel of the person. I just want to show you that. I believe it's premeditated as well. Okay. So I do have someone who's sharing more photos as well. Okay, so let me go back. I just want to get the video. I thought I had sent a video. It's not going to play. Oh, hush. Mommy will be right with you guys shortly. Oh, it might play. Okay. I hope it plays. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can't get that. How do I get that to you guys? It's coming up in a different place. Why is it not coming up where I want it to come up? Hold on. I have the video. I'm just trying to get it to where you all can see it. Because they put pictures up, but they didn't show the video. Let's see. If I download it. And then I'm going to close this. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get it pulled up for you. It's now downloaded. But how do I get you all to see it? Oh, goodness. I don't know how to get it to you. Let me think about this. Oh, I do know. Let me upload it to Canva. I'll be right there, my friends. I'll be right with you. Exhibit 7. Okay, upload files. Exhibit 7. Okay. I will add a page here and put it here. Okay. Can you all see it now? This was terrifying for me to watch, and I'm going to make it larger for you. Look at that video. See, and they watched that thinking that was Sebastian. They've got his arms up in the air. He's cuffed. Isn't that terrifying? I just find that very terrifying. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go to the chat real quick. I see some things you guys are talking about. Someone said something about court TV. Okay. See if you've got any questions here. Let me get Sebastian's face up here. I don't want his face not up here. We'll get Texas Roadhouse up here while I'm looking at the chat. Okay, so for those of you who are in the bushes, I am now going to go to the chat for questions. Okay, so we have, it's not Sebastian, no, but it's, and in one of the updates, they give you the link to X so you can verify who it is, but I'm not sharing that link. I read the update in my members only. I'm not sharing the link because I didn't want to send everyone over to his channel because he's talking about being arrested. Okay, so YouTuber says, sorry, yes, it was on a street near the route KP took home from Texas Roadhouse. A man was seen acting suspiciously. I think he was wearing a green sweatshirt hoodie, and it was posted in their neighborhood group. Harley Ryder says, if that is Chris outside of Texas Roadhouse, no wonder Katie wanted to see what video was released. Yes, if it is him. It looks like him to me, but the guy in the sweatshirt looks like a pic I saw in some creator's video long ago of who was driving around following and threatening searchers. I know who you mean. The guy with the brown hair and the mustache. I know exactly who you mean. Yes, I saw that too. So let's see. Gina H says, I saw CP face-to-face in court. His beady eyes. Haha, he's short in my opinion. He's short and has little man syndrome in my opinion, which is why he has such a forceful mouth in my opinion. Okay, Poppy Love says, allegedly, was it Oregon that the RV was taken there to sell? Allegedly, yes. I found a market. They were there in March, meeting with a Rosenbaum, allegedly. And that Rosenbaum, a month later, had a RV listed on Marketplace, Montana High Country. It sold for $45K. What I don't know is when CP took two people with him up to pick up his RV, which he says he's a big fifth wheeler. You know, he knows his fifth wheel. He's got his toys. He lives up there. Did he go take two people with him every time he relocated up to his site? Did he need two people to help him? But he needed two people. He needed to take two people away from KP while her son was missing and go deal with the RV. And he says took so long, 17 hours. So they stayed the night. Guess what? I've had two RVs. It does not take 17 hours to pack your RV up. Okay. Second of all, you wouldn't need two other people. It's not that kind of thing. So I think the RV plays a pivotal role in it. But here's what I want to say. I think when they went up to that park and got that RV, I think he swapped with his mother, and the RV he took back to Stafford Court was Kathy's, and Kathy and TB took the RV with them to Seattle, whatever, to be sold, right? Flew to Alaska, whatever went on. And CP and KP went out to Oregon to deal with stuff. But I think they took, or they switched RVs out there. But yes, I showed you on Marketplace where they were selling it. Then they reached out to me afterwards. And whenever they do this kind of stuff, I take it with a grain of salt. We were never sold an RV. That was not his. Well, okay. It wasn't his RV or their RV or whatever. Okay. It's just another big coincidence, right? So, and Yellow Jacket, we're going to talk about Yellow Jacket. CB was seen near here too. Oh, you're talking Washington. Yepers. I'm glad you guys are telling me this because my image individual is busy today. So she'll be looking into all this later. I'm almost certain the guy in the pic is wearing a Clover brand cap. CP wore a Clover brand cap in his first YouTube interview. There we go. You're right. Hold on. Let me pull that up if I can. So it would have been a year, long over a year ago. Oh, I have it in my slides. Hold on. Let me go to my docs. Let me go to my slides. Sheets, I mean. It's in my sheets. So interview 1, right? Interviews. Here we go. Let me pull out the interviews. This would be not the one with Chris and Kate, Duchess. It would be the other one, right? There it is. There you go. There you go, my friends. Look at that hat. Look at that. Now let's go back. Black, white with a white thing. Now let's see his. Well, gray, black with a black thing. Let me look again. You guys seeing this? Is the emblem gray on the front? Okay, so he's got the clover hat, and this person has a clover hat. Interesting. Good catch, YouTuber. And some of you are saying you saw that same person, in your opinion, at the court. So, does the guy in the phone have glasses on? Let me look. I've received several more since I've been on the show. Hold on. Let me see if there's glasses. Several have been sending pictures since we've been on. I don't know. It doesn't, to me, it just doesn't. I don't know. Let's see. Let me share this with you. Here's another one, and the person believes, and I'm going to enlarge it for you, because when I look at it in this direction, I'm not quite sure, right? But let me look here real quick. I just lost my... There you go. Let me look real quick so I can enlarge this for you. Okay. Are you all there? I think my internet's... Oh, don't do this. Hold on, guys. I think my internet just... Oh, thank goodness you're there. Okay. Thought my internet went on me. Okay, let me enlarge this for you. Now, the person who sent this to me thinks that's DG right here. One person thinks that's DG. Let me take it back. I can't get a good look at it. Can you guys see it? But when I look there, that doesn't look like CP to me. Does that look like CP to you guys? That doesn't look like CP to me right there. That just doesn't. But they think that they were thinking that the person with him was DG, Danny, right here. But I don't even think that looks like Danny, in my opinion. I'll have to get someone looking at that. It doesn't look like Danny Guy, in my opinion, at all. Danny Guy, no. What do you guys think? Okay, no, that isn't DG. No, ma'am, not DG, respectfully. Thank you guys, because I don't think so either. He is not overweight like that from what we can see. So, well, we've talked about a lot today. So Israel, it is not Sebastian. I do worry because I think that there is a crane logo on the hoodie. Yes. I do believe that there's a lot of silencing going on, a lot of mind your own business, a lot of get out of here's, a lot of stay in your own lanes. And I don't know what to say other than there was a premeditated plan, in my opinion. And Sonny knew he had gotten home. Sonny knew he had gotten home, right? He says he had substantial reasoning as to why he walked back in that house that he knew, which would allude to the person in the home being responsible, in my opinion. She hasn't been cleared, but she hasn't been named. And I think that was a big problem, in my opinion. I also was told that there was a hit at the landfill. We also heard there was a fleet company that saw them find a trash bag, a hefty bag, garbage bag with Sebastian's clothes on it. And if you recall, Sonny Weatherford, the sheriff at the time, told the reporter, which this is interesting, that what they found, they will go back and go over and see if they have a reason to go back to the landfill. That report is hard to find. It's been replaced with a they found nothing report. Remember we noticed that about 4 or 5 months ago? It's a hard report to find with the newscaster, but you can find it. But there's another version where he's saying, and they haven't found anything. It's really wild. Internet's being weird right now, Shirley C. I don't know what's going on. So, no, I have not. I was about a year ago. Well, after Dog's team came in, I got warned, don't talk about Sumner County politics unless you live here. So what does that tell you? It's time to look at Sumner County politics, which we have. Okay. So the new mayor or the new DA coming in is a born and bred Sumner County person. He has been since 1995 responsible for convicting white collar criminals, which is money launderers, frauds. Hold on. Money laundering, fraud, tax evasion, all of that. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, well, there's many of them still out there. So it's a big red flag to me. When you have an election and someone is usually after 40 years going to step down, usually they have the decency to wait until the election so the people can elect the seat fairly, the people's voice. What they did is he retired very quickly, very early before the election. After 40 years, he couldn't wait a few more months so the people could vote who they want in. No, he couldn't. Because if you leave early, they appoint someone. And indeed, the governor appointed this guy. So now the people didn't get a say. Just like the people were voted down at the commission meeting, they are not going to get to speak at those meetings. Just like the commissioners voted no term limits, because when you've got terms, you better behave or you're voted out. When you don't have terms, you sit on your butt, you're complacent, and you get corruption, in my opinion. So there's a lot going on in Sumner County of mistreating the locals, the constituents. If you're a local, I challenge you to go into Sumner County Sheriff's Office and try and tell them you're there to talk about Sebastian Rogers and see how you're treated. What's the square? Someone said it's a crane. They say it's a crane, and my person looked at it and thought it was a crane, but I will admit, she was driving and on her way somewhere. Yes, Poppy Love, we have lots of documentation, and every time you call, you get some sort of a, yeah, exactly. Meet your new boss, same as the old boss. Exactly. Because he's been there 45 years. And if there have been white collar criminals walking around and what we're watching, we've been told there could be, yes. What are we watching, right? They haven't been prosecuted and stopped, have they? So Let me go and see if you have any questions before we sign off. What's the square object in that guy's sweatshirt? I am so bad at these, you all, but I will try my best. There, can you see it better? Does that help? You know how bad I am. There, does that help you? Someone said it was like a crane work shirt or something. Crane. So, but anyway, it's just a lot. We have to stay. I will be there in October for the Pig Fest. If you want to meet up with me and do a meet and greet, please email me. We will plan it, but we won't plan it verbally right now for safety reasons. But we will plan a meet and greet. If any of you creators who are in here are going to be there, let me know. I'd love to meet you too. And I will be, not the decal. Okay, let me get that off there. I will be, it's from the Texas Roadhouse. I will be putting together a panel of creators who still want to talk about Sebastian. And I will be talking to you, Nicey Renee and Lady Freedom. Both of you, thank you so much for being here. Smiling Sleuth. Anyone who has a channel who's still covering Sebastian, we will get together and have a panel. Okay. Sorry I jumped so quickly. I know normally we're a little bit more organized, but I went right from members only to this and didn't have everything ready, but I got to show you what I wanted to. The United Nations documents the video of the person being arrested. Oh, good, Lady Freedom. Yay. Oh, good. I hope you come as well. That would be so cool. Keep me posted. So there's a lot. We're looking at a lot, but I really think we need to go back and look into the Texas Roadhouse. I have great footage of Green Hoodie. It's a better view. I'm going to bring it forth, but I'd like to get the show more organized. Today was so much on the fly, going from one to the next. Yeah, I don't think it looks like CP either. It did to me from the first photo I was sent, but now that I'm on the show and I'm being sent more, no, I don't think it is. But he looks a little, we will go into, I'm going to do a reverse image on it. I'm able to make phone calls. Can someone get us going with a letter? What do you need a letter for, my dear? Bye, Ladies Freedoms. Thanks for being here. And yes, we are praying for our friend Jenny Machete, and I absolutely will get that on my community post for those of you who want to help support her. Her father has passed, and they are needing to do things to lay him to rest properly. Okay. Alcoholic, it's good to see you. It's good to see all of you. But yeah, now that I'm seeing this, could Pink Sweater Girl be C's wife? I don't know. You know, Pink Sweater Girl, the way she walks out there covering her mouth, and then yellow raincoat turns and covers his mouth. No. Gina, they're not talking about Durant. They're talking about Danny. Danny's not 60. They're talking about Danny guy, right? Or Danny G, excuse me. So when I saw the photo first, I thought it was him. But now that I'm on this show, someone's sending me more, and I don't think it's him. That's not his face, but it's a similar hat, right? So for my little sleuths there, because you're amazing. Oh, gotcha. I get you. I get you, Gina. For my sleuths out there who want to study these pictures for me, because I do have to take my dogs to the lake for a little bit. I will come back. Leave me any messages you want me to, and we will talk, but I'm going to be off grid for a couple of hours. Okay. So Jen, I will have to go watch her video. I haven't watched it, but that's a great question. Thank you. Jay, it's a square inside his sweatshirt, not on the outside. Okay. I'm not sure, Gypsy Girl. I use someone else's eyes for that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's a lot that's going on. And I do want to tell you all, normally we spend time on the holidays together. We contacting FBI, TBI, absolutely. I've got letters. Yes, I can write a letter. And I will be here on Labor Day for you before I go over to my brother's home. So I just wanted you to know that. Okay. So Monday I will be here probably in the morning before I go over to my brother's. I want to spend some of the holiday with all of you. And tomorrow I absolutely will be here. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I do have a video that I'm working on putting out. And if I get it finished, I will put it out this evening for you all. Okay. I want to thank you all for being here, for being Sebastian's Army, for the creators in the house right now. I want to thank you for what you're doing for Sebastian. I think if we all stick together and keep this going and have a united voice, we will be heard. Until we need to be heard, to someone who cares about this child and has the position to support it will hear us. Okay. So thank you for everything you do. Stay safe and keep keeping on. And I will see you next time. Talk soon, my friends. And thank you for all your generous donations and mods. Thank you for running an amazing chat like you always do. And all of you, thank you for keeping it classy. Talk soon, my friends.